Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to dive into a practical demonstration of exploiting a security vulnerability known as XML External Entity or XSE using an XInclude attack. We will be focusing on a lab scenario where we will retrieve sensitive information from a server by injecting a crafted XML payload. So let's get started. The lab we are exploring involves a check stock feature. This feature embeds user input within a server-side XML document, which is then parsed by the server. The objective here is to exploit this XML parsing process to retrieve sensitive data from the server, more specifically, the contents of the ATC password file. So unlike a traditional XSE attack where you can define a document type definition, in this lab, we don't have control over the entire XML structure. This makes launching a classic XSE attack more challenging. So for the first step, we will access the lab and we will wait for the page to open. So here's how we can solve this lab challenge using an XInclude attack. First of all, for the step 1, I will intercept the request. So first, visit the product page and initiate the check stock feature. And while doing this, we will intercept the resulting post request using a tool like burpsuit, and this will allow us to modify the parameters before sending the request to the server. Now I will visit the product page. Here I am just visiting the product page. Now I'll check the Foxy proxy and I will turn the intercept on. So here's the response. I will send it to the repeater. So for the next step, we need to craft a payload that triggers the XInclude attack. We will set the value of the product ID parameter to a specially crafted XML snippet, and here's what it looks like. So I will copy the code and paste in product ID. This payload creates an XML element F00 with a namespace declaration for XInclude. Inside we use the XInclude element to include the contents of the ATC password file using the file scheme. Now after crafting the payload, we replace the original product ID value with our payload and forward the modified request using the burpsuit. Now the server, upon receiving the request, will parse the XML document and process our payload. The XInclude statement instructs the server to include the contents of the ATC password file in the response. So here's an explanation of the payload. This is the root element of the XML document. It includes a namespace declaration for the XInclude namespace, which refers to the XInclude namespace. Ref is equals to file ATC password. This is where the actual XXE attack appears. It uses the XInclude element from the XInclude namespace. The parse attribute is set to text, indicating that the included content should be treated as text. The ref attribute is set to file ATC password, which is a file path pointing to the ATC password file on the server. And there you have it. By skillfully injecting an XInclude payload, we have successfully exploited the XML External Entity vulnerability to retrieve sensitive information from the server. This step exercise highlights the importance of secure coding practices and vigilance in preventing such vulnerabilities in real-world applications.